Welcome to Bible Logos. My name is Tamiko Greeley, and I am your broadcast host. And today I am excited to introduce part one of the message, I've Had Enough. #Enough by Elder D. Allen Miller Sr. Please like and share this message on social media with your friends and family. All right, here is part one of I've Had Enough. #Enough.
First, giving honor to God has allowed me to see another day of preaching opportunity. I thank you, Pastor, for this opportunity. It's always to stand before God's word. I believe He has a word for your fellowship and your church on today. So if we could stand and turn to Mark, 5th chapter. Commencing with verse 25 and ending with verse 34. If you have it, say amen. And it reads as thus: Now a certain woman had a flow of blood for 12 years, and had suffered many things from many physicians. She had spent all that she had and was no better, but rather grew worse. And when she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. And for she said, if I only may touch his clothes, I shall be made well. And immediately the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the affliction. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that power had gone out of him, turned around in the crowd and said, who touched me? Or who touched my clothes? But his disciples said to him, you see this multitude thronging you, and you say, who touched me? And he looked around to see her who had done this thing, but the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction. May God add a blessing to the reading and the hearing of his words. You may be seated. I want to speak from the subject today. I've had enough. #enough. Dr. Edward P. Wimberly, the professor of pastoral counseling at the Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta, Georgia, says that the transitory human redemptive process happens when you get to a point where change is no longer voluntary, but mandatory. And I believe that Dr. Wimberly is correct, because each and every one of us reach a point in our journey with God where all hell can break loose. And we come to the realization that something has got to change. And it normally happens when you get to the point where you can't go, as some folk would say, another further. When you've taken all you can take, when you've done all you can do, when you've done all you can do to stand, we make a conscious cognitive decision that you've had enough. Mary J. Blige reached a point where she had enough in her marriage to her manager and her manager and husband, Kendu Isaac, as it was found out that he was misappropriating $400,000 of her money on his mistress. And she got to a point where she had enough. So she had an album that's called The Strength of a Woman that dealt with the demise of her marriage and, in fact, that she had enough. So she pens the lyrics to the song, No More Drama, and I Can Do Bad All By Myself. Jill Scott's character in the movie Why Did I Get Married got to a point where she was fed up with her insensitive, rude, and conceited husband, Mike. In the infamous scene, Sheila is found on a plane, and she's asked to deboard because they're making fun of her size and saying that she has to buy 2 seats. So she deboards the plane, and while she deboards the plane, her husband is sitting there giggling and laughing and making fun of her, and also flirting with her single friend, Trina. Anybody ever seen the movie? And so as she makes this drive in the snow by herself to the destination, she comes to find out parts of the movie that he spent all of her money. He's there making fun of her still when she's trying to be intimate with him. And then at this infamous scene where they're sitting at the dinner table, she finds out about his philandering ways. She takes that wine bottle, smashes him across the head, signifying that I've had enough. And then she loses a little weight, coming out looking like Beyonce in an extra large, gets married to Troy. And see, sometimes when people make fun of you and when you've had enough, it helps you find yourself. Do I have a witness here? Florida Evans had enough. And for those of you millennials, this is a sitcom that was founded in 1974. And it had J.J., Thelma, Bookman, and Willona. And after James was killed, there's this scene, they're going through it, and the episode where Florida's, she's wrestling in herself, but she's making it seem like she's all good. There's no problems, and Michael and Thelma are having a problem because she's not shedding a tear for their father who has just passed away. And so now at the end, she starts putting things away. Takes the flower, looks at it, and then there's this punch bowl sitting on the table. And when she's had enough, she grabs that punch bowl, slams it to the ground, and yells 3 words that I won't say in your presence today, but it signified that she had enough. Anybody ever seen the movie The Color Purple? Miss Seeley gets fed up. And I like the scene at the dinner table because she's sitting there next to Mr., who was just mean, trifling, evil, unappreciative, and just a disgusting husband. Mr. had horrible things to say about Miss Seeley. In fact, she became codependent and thought that women needed to be beat on. That's why she told Harpo to go beat Miss Sophia. Y'all don't remember that? But then there came a day when Miss Seeley had enough. They were sitting at the dinner table. Y'all remember that? Miss Sophia just had gotten out of jail, right? And they were both getting ready to leave with Miss Suge Avery because she was ready to get out of town. And when Miss Suge was ready to go and leave, Miss Seeley had her bags packed. And then when she told Mr. I'm about to leave, he starts popping off at the mouth. And then Miss Seeley just lost it. And you know what happens sometimes when folks are popping off the mouth, you just lose it. And so she grabs that butcher knife out of that ham, sticks it under his neck, and says, I ain't never asked you for nothing. Not even your sorry boop, boop hand in marriage. There comes a time when you've had enough. And I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, sitting in the Faith Fellowship Community Church, there are people sitting on every row who've gotten to be in 2 categories. One, you have seen a change since you met Jesus Christ. You can humbly say you're totally sold out to the Lord and your life has never been the same.
Welcome back. We are just getting started, but I'm already excited about this word. Tune in tomorrow for part 2 of the message, I've had enough. #enough. And don't forget to like it and share it with your friends and family. I am Tamiko Greeley, and I want you to remember that the sower sows the word, and therefore it is with the same measure you meet that it shall be measured unto you again.